Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Hello there, it's Brad. The Empowerography Live Conference 2026 is happening live and in person for the first time here in Toronto in April of 2026. This is your chance to step fully into your power over 2.5 incredible days. You'll hear from 30 plus inspiring speakers, join hands-on workshops, and connect with women from around the world who are ready to grow, learn, and rise together. This isn't just an event. This is an experience that will leave you motivated, empowered, and ready to take action. Seats are limited, so head to my website and secure your spot today. All the information will be in the show notes, and we look forward to seeing you in April. Hello there, Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest is Vanessa Cardenas. She is a relationship reset expert, a betrayal recovery specialist who helps individuals and couples rebuild trust, restore emotional connection, and regain clarity from the inside out. She is also the founder of Understanding Ear and the creator of the Hope Roadmap. Welcome, Vanessa. How are you?
Brad, I am so excited to be here. As I told you before we got started, boy, we have been attempting to do this not for 1 or 2 months, but for 2 years we've been trying to connect since we got introduced by wonderful Dr. Rani.
Yes.
What a glorious soul she
yes.
is, without a doubt. And I've been following you and you've been following me. How it started was you had this beautiful exercise. You did it for about a month, if I recall correctly, of songs. And you prompted every single post that you did with name a song that.
Yes.
And I loved it. I couldn't wait for you to post the next one because I, of course, love music.
Yeah.
Which is the soul that just it connects us in such a way that other things don't. And I loved that series that you did. And I think you and I got to really know each other through that because there were some songs that I identified that you had to go back in time and that was the one. I remember that. So yeah, that's how we initially connected. And then you were gracious enough to have me on your summits.
Yeah.
Those were amazing experiences.
Thank you.
And I understand you're going to be doing it live next year.
Are you going to join us? Are you coming up to Toronto from New York?
I'm not quite sure yet. It falls into a challenging month for me.
It would be awesome to have you and to actually meet you in person would be amazing. But yeah, 2 years to get this thing done. But as you also said off air, is that we have both grown and expanded so much. So that the conversation now that we're finally having it is going to be so expansive and so beautiful and so powerful. So as they say, divine timing with everything. And here we are today, New Year's Eve, stepping out of 2025 and into 2026 to have this conversation with you. I am so grateful to have you here and we are finally going to get this done. So with that being said, let's get this party started. So when someone enters into doing this kind of work and helping people going through things like this, there's usually a catalyst moment in their own life that led them down this path. Would you mind sharing your catalyst moment that led you into doing this work?
It's quite a story. I'm going to condense it because we have so much to go through.
Yes, we do.
In a nutshell, I had known my husband for 3 decades. We had been married for 2 decades and we played hooky and went through Central Park together on a beautiful spring day. We had such a bitter winter and finally a spring day. And we were like, yes, let's go into Central Park. So excited and people watching. And I was so into what was going on around us. And I could hear him in the distance. Vanessa, let's sit down. There's something I need to tell you. And I sat down and I'm still people watching and whatnot. He's Vanessa. And I turned to look at him and he said 3 words. That's all he said. I've met someone. And my whole world just shattered. I mean, if
I'm
you're
sure.
a fan of the Marvel movies, when Thanos snaps his fingers and everybody turns to dust,
Yeah.
I fell apart. I was completely blindsided by it at the time. And it hit me hard. And I didn't realize for way too long, just way too long, that what it did was it opened Pandora's box of other micro betrayals that I had throughout my entire life that I never cleaned up, that were just minimized and just, it's nothing, let that go. But what happened is they all started to stack really high. And then, of course, my husband just flicked it and the whole thing just completely collapsed. And I fell hard and deep into a
Wow.
situation that I didn't anticipate at all, of course not.
Yeah.
But not for nothing, I'm a smart woman. I'm a C-suite executive. I thought for sure, never mind the fact I have a psychology degree, that I could fix him and I could fix me and
Right.
we'd be fine. It doesn't work that way. It just so doesn't work that way. Betrayal is a completely different beast and a completely different trauma than all of the others. And not to minimize any of those as either,
Right.
but it's completely different. And I jumped into studying with the greats. I became a perpetual student to everyone. Everything I could possibly consume, I did because I was looking for those answers. Why?
Yeah. Of
Biggest question
course.
of all. But I looped and looped around trying desperately to fix myself and to fix him. And here we are, almost a decade later. And now I'm doing this work to help others. I know what it feels like. I know.
Firsthand.
Yes, exactly what it feels. And when you have that perspective, not only from textbook, but you also have it from lived through experience, it takes on a different meaning. And I have that skill set to be able to be of service. And it's so rewarding. It's ridiculously rewarding for me. It's who I was meant to be. It took me almost 5 decades to discover who I was, but now that I'm here, yeah. And we talked off air before we got on about you and you coming out, and here you are. You're almost, 700 episodes in?
I just published today 738.
738. Amazing. Amazing. And now you're announcing you're coming out. You're going to step in front because you have been behind supporting 738 women who you've interviewed, who have been published. We're not talking about the tens of thousands that you have done beyond that, because every single woman that you've had on your program, we're going to be really conservative. At least 100 women benefited from that episode that you facilitated. Woo!
Yeah. And much to your point about feeling so lit up because you've found that thing that sets your soul on fire, to be able to be in and of service to another human being, it's the greatest feeling in the world. And to have found your purpose, I always say it's like winning the lottery twice, in my opinion, because the first time is finding your purpose, finding what lights you up. But the second time is being in and of service and people benefiting, that ripple effect of what you do, helping others. That's why we're all here, is to be in and of service to one another, celebrating you, celebrating me. And as we step into 2026, it's just going to be amazing. Absolutely. Yeah. Like a rocket ship off. I love it.
Off we go.
So for you, Vanessa, what was the most uncomfortable truth that you had to face about yourself, not your partner, in the aftermath of the betrayal?
How quickly I descended into the darkness. I was down. I was absolutely down. And suddenly, so many moments replayed in my head. Like immediately, the movie of my life. They say that right before you have a horrific car accident, your life flashes before you in like split seconds. That's what it felt like for me. My entire relationship, again, keeping in mind, I had known my husband for over 3 decades. We've been married for 2 decades. We had children, a house and cars and everything else. And suddenly, just like that, the whole movie of my entire life and the darkness that I descended into just overwhelmed me. It completely overwhelmed me.
The blame game, I'm sure. How did I
Absolutely.
not see this? How did I not see? And then I'm sure, because as they say, hindsight's always 20/20. When you look back, it's like, fuck, I should have recognized that sign, and fuck, I should have recognized. Like, how did I not see this? And you start spiraling and blaming yourself, and it's, oh, I can't even imagine. But here you are now, sharing your gifts through your experiences to help others get through onto the other side of betrayal. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And it speaks to your character as a human being, as a woman, to want to do that, to want to give that gift of helping people get through that very difficult thing of betrayal and get on the other side of it. I think it's magical. And it just speaks volumes as to who you are, Vanessa.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. I do.
And so for you, what emotion showed up that you were least prepared for? Not anger, not sadness, but something a little quieter or more unsettling.
Disoriented. I was completely disoriented. I felt as if I was standing still in slow motion. I could see my hand moving really slow. And all around me was hyperspeed, just things flying by me. And the disconnect that I had, I was so disoriented. And I was disoriented with my body. I couldn't understand how everything fell apart all at once. My brain, logic, and my heart, my emotion, completely severed.
Yeah.
And the disorientation was very overwhelming.
Can I ask, how was that? Because you said this happened in Central Park. You guys were out for an hour. So how the fuck was that walk back? Did you go back by yourself? Did you tell him? I'm curious what happened immediately after he told you.
Let's put it this way. I'm sure that somebody has it recorded because I turned into the most vicious Karen you can imagine. Initially, I got really quiet. Like I again, slow motion, like everything sped up around me. And then anger flooded in and I let loose. Things were flying out of my mouth. I became the worst truck driver that there is. It gets cut off in traffic. It was ridiculous. And I walked separately from him. He was trying to catch up. There was more that he needed to say, but at that point, I couldn't hear anything else.
Yeah,
because
I'm sure.
Through some sort of really vicious trauma, your middle ear, just everything's wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, Charlie Brown's teacher.
You don't hear anything. You absolutely don't because you're so in the moment and everything's happening so fast.
Yeah.
Even though you feel like you're moving in slow motion, everything else is happening so fast.
Yeah.
And it's very disorienting.
Now, I can't remember. I know that we've talked about this before, but you and your husband have repaired and are still together, correct?
Yes, we will be celebrating 35 years married.
Wow.
January next month. Yes.
Holy shit. That's amazing. Congratulations.
It does have an asterisk, which symbolizes, but wait, part of the story that you need to know, just like a ball player. But yes, 35 years. We did make it through. And the most important thing that was said to me early on that I dismissed, I didn't hear it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
But later on, when I went through my notes and really started to process exactly what was happening, a brilliant mentor said, Vanessa, you're going to have another relationship. You just get to decide who it's with. And that was very profound because, yes, my husband and I are still married, but we're not the same. Neither one of us is the same. We do have a new relationship. I chose him and we worked our way through. It wasn't easy. Oh, no.
I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely not. And every once in a while, because it does happen, I still get triggered. I do. Years and years later, something will trigger me just like that. The difference now, as opposed to then, is then a trigger would knock me on my ass.
Yeah.
not for minutes or days or weeks, but months. I would be living in that trigger of where I couldn't breathe or anything. Now, because of all the training that I went through for myself, and now that I teach others, is to shorten that duration of time so that when you have a trigger, you honor it. It's your body's way of telling you, hey, pay attention to this.
Yeah.
And you pay attention to it, but you don't allow it to knock you on your ass, and you shorten the duration of time. So I can get them down to about 5-10 minutes where it doesn't ruin my whole day. And a lot of that has to do with being able to speak about it, being able to say, hey, hold on a second, wait a second, that doesn't quite feel right. Take two. You want to say that again so that I understand it? Because yes, we have a tendency in relationships to stick our foot in our mouth and push it in even deeper sometimes. And sometimes we need to explain ourselves, because the worst thing that happens in relationships is that we think for the other person. Oh, I know what he's going to say. Do you really? Okay.
You're a mind reader now?
Yeah, exactly. So let him speak. Let her speak. Let them get the words out. Let them have it land and see how it lands. And if it doesn't quite feel right, if it's icky and it just, whoa, that didn't quite, what do you mean by that? Give them a chance to say it again so that they can articulate themselves in the right way, so that it lands properly, so that you don't feel that trigger. You don't feel that avalanche of emotion come after you.
Yeah. All that experience, all the training, you've gathered the tools along the way to fill your toolbox to turn, as I say, turn the volume down. You say condense the time. It's all part of the process. And I think that's incredible that you've done the work, because so many people would just stuff it down, push through, as we tend to do as human beings. We don't sit and, as you said, process it, let it wash through you. The trick is to not stay stuck there, to not stay stuck in that muck, stay stuck in those emotions. You have to process them. You have to let them wash over you, but you also have to step out of it so you don't stay stuck there.
Well said.
Thanks.
Said. Absolutely.
Thank you. See, I've learned a hell of a lot from all the conversations I've had. Oh my gosh. This podcast has benefited me in ways I can't even articulate. It's been so amazing with all of the lessons I've learned from all of the incredible women like yourself, who I've had the honor and the opportunity to sit and hold space and have conversations with. And it's just, this is an education you can't even fucking pay for. It's incredible. It is truly incredible. And I am beyond grateful to all of you who have taken the time to allow me into your space to share. It's a true blessing and a gift. Honestly, I cannot say that enough. And so at what point did you realize that surviving this wasn't going to be about getting answers, but about staying connected to yourself? And what was it in particular that triggered that realization for you?
It was with each answer that I got. And what I mean is that each answer brought a brief moment of relief. It wasn't lasting. Like I'd get one answer and I would settle down. My body would settle down and be like, oh, okay. Logically, I could understand that. My heart could expand just a little bit and whatnot. But it was so short-lived. And I was like, then another question would raise. And I could have 150 million questions and trying to get this relief. And I realized that no, it's actually, the answers to the questions are important. Make no mistake, but they will not alleviate what's going on for you. And what's going on for you is you're so deregulated that you need to be grounded. And initially when somebody suggested, oh, meditate. And I'm like, I can't close my eyes for more than 5 minutes before the movie goes through my head, because when you have so many unanswered questions, especially related to betrayal, and betrayal is on a spectrum. It very much is. Some people are very concerned about emotional betrayal, emotional affairs, telling secrets to another woman or another man, That can be a form of betrayal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Then there's financial betrayal. There's all different nuances of betrayal before you get to physical betrayal.
Yeah.
Having a physical affair with someone or having an entire another family with someone. So there's an entire spectrum that has that. So for me, it was, if I close my eyes to meditate, all I see is the movie that I created, filling in all the gaps. Women that he was talking to were all swimsuit models. They were all gorgeous. They were all because in my mind, that's what I needed to fill in the gaps to make sense of how could this happen.
Yeah.
Completely false, completely as far from the truth as it could be, but it satisfied me for the moment to have that story. But when I learned finally to be able to ground myself, to be able to be in the present moment, I needed a visual anchor. I needed that.
Right.
And it became my boots.
Really?
Yeah, my boots. My husband and I, on our first trip, went to Seattle, and I got a pair of Doc Marten boots. Yeah, for the first 7 days, I wore them everywhere. And if you've ever worn Doc Marten boots, not what you're supposed to do, because you get all blistered. Yes, my feet got all blistered, but it was such a beautiful trip, and I loved my boots. When we went through this experience and I was sitting in Central Park, what was I wearing on my feet? My Doc Marten boots. Exactly. And it was a really interesting technique that was taught to me was, okay, find something to ground you. Some people have a crystal or a stone or a necklace or something that they hold on to that has that meaning to them. For me, it became my boots because I could feel my toes curling in my boot and I could feel the ground. And I'm like, okay, I am standing. I am here. I am now. And that started my collection of boots, for which I have a lot. They pretty much have their own room now. But with that being said, that was my grounding technique. So I encourage my clients to have something that has meaning to them that they always have with them. That was the key. So that when you feel that trigger coming on, because you feel it, you know it's coming, whether it's like that or it's a slow burn to get to that point. You know it. And to have that piece of jewelry that you can hold on to, that necklace you can hold on to, that ring that you can twirl, even just grasping your hands and feeling yourself allows you to ground yourself. And that was a really important technique for me, because more important than strength is steadiness. And you get steadiness from slowing everything down, not just yourself, but everything around you. Just breathe into it. Just allow yourself to slow it down. Just slow it all down.
And that's okay. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that tip, Vanessa. What did rebuilding emotional safety inside your own body require when the relationship no longer felt safe?
When it didn't feel safe for me in those really dark moments, that was a moment of stepping away, to put actual physical distance, not a separation. I want to be cautious with that because I know a lot of others recommend a separation, physical separation in a long-term pattern. For me, that would create panic. But I needed to somewhat control the situation, so I needed to step away from it. So for my husband and I, we had a certain code word that we would use if we felt that the conversation was escalating to the point he could see that either I was getting very red, the anger was starting to brew, or I was turtling in, like I was getting very quiet and whatnot. We would pause. We would say a code word, we would pause, and I would go take a shower. Because there was something about water for me that would be very cleansing. And I could just feel the water and I could breathe through it and I could allow myself. And I visualized the cleansing of it. And it allowed me to suddenly feel safe again. It's also the only room in our house that had a lock. Not that I anticipated my husband coming in. Don't misunderstand me. But for me, for a sense of control, I could lock that door and I would be safe. And I could take a shower and I could allow that movement of emotion to go through me. And for me, that was a sense of control. And my husband was able to honor that and respect that. Even when it was tense and concerning that I needed to step away, he gave me, and I say it just like that, he gave me the opportunity to do so because it was so important for him, because he had the willingness to do the work as well.
Yeah.
For us to stay together.
That's pretty powerful to be able to, and I would imagine it takes a lot of self-awareness, self-control to be able to stop in the middle of a fucking conversation and say, okay, use your code word, whatever it is, and I need to step away from this. And whether that be go for a walk, for you, go take a shower, it could be a numerous amount of things, but to be able to do that, I think, is incredible, because conversations can heat up really fucking quickly and escalate out of control very fast. So to be able to slow it down, take a pause. Okay, I need to go take my shower. I need to go for a walk, whatever it is. I think that takes incredible self-awareness and self-control, for sure.
On both ends.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mine as well, because there are some times where I just wanted to spill out a lot of things.
I'm sure.
But sometimes we say things in the heat of the moment. That's why they call it the heat of the moment. That you're speaking from a different perspective.
You can't take them back either once you've said them, once they've left your mouth.
Yeah. And sometimes they can. And when we hurt, we want to hurt others.
Yeah.
We just do.
We want to
feel it. We want to bleed all over them. And for us, it became, do we want to be right? Or do we really want to be right? Or do we really want to work through this?
And there you go. And that's the difference. I love that.
Exactly.
Thank you for articulating that.
Exactly.
How did grief show up for you in unexpected ways? Not just for what happened, but for what you thought your marriage was.
I grieved a version of my life that was certain. I was addicted to certainty. Graduate from college, you're going to get a good job. You get a good job, you work hard, you're going to advance. Everything had a action and a reaction, and it just kept stacking on top of each other. And I loved certainty. I loved certainty. I was very meticulous about certainty. I had to grieve. I had to grieve that my life that felt certain, even with the parts that I complained about, before betrayal. I was addicted to all of that. And I had to grieve that entire version of my life, because I needed to let that go. And I did. And that was hard. That was hard to let that go, because my certainty, my addiction to certainty was generational. My parents had it. My grandparents had it. It was a generational mindset of certainty. And anything uncertain, that didn't feel good.
Uncertainty never does.
And whatnot. And now I view the uncertainty as an adventure, because and I view it not from a place of nervousness, but a place of excitement. There's going to be something on the other side. Let's see what it's going to. And I get very excited for the uncertainty. That's now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of training, but that's also with a lot of reinforcement, the feedback loop. Okay, there's something uncertain. Let's move our way through it. Oh, this is the result. Ooh, the result is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, the next time uncertainty comes around, remember the last time you had uncertainty, and remember what happened, and it ended up pretty good. And then that feedback allows it. And of course, you have to put into place. Sometimes the uncertainty doesn't feel good.
Yeah, for sure.
That's okay, but that's okay, because hopefully the law of averages is you have more really good stuff than really bad stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes 99% of the problems that we think about actually never really materialize.
Nope. We create these massive mountains in our heads of how things are going to be. And Usually it doesn't even come to fruition. We make things, we as humans, I think it's a human trait. We just make things so much more difficult than they have to be on ourselves. We are our own biggest hurdles. We are our own worst enemies. We create these problems for ourselves, and it's very unnecessary, but it's human nature. So again, using the tools you have that you gather along the way in this thing, in this journey called life, you gather those tools and you learn how to use them to help turn the volume down when those gremlins get so loud in your fucking head.
And they turn on a flashlight. That's, for me, was the thing, because then they would cast this really big shadow. So these gremlins were suddenly a lot.
Yeah.
All just shadows, smoke and mirrors and shadows. Yep. And when you see the gremlins,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, just flick it away. Vanessa, what was the loneliest part of your healing? The part no one could walk you through?
Realizing that no one could feel for me. They could feel this for me. They couldn't, no matter how much they loved me. And when you go through something, any kind of grief or anything, the people around you, they really do mean well, but sometimes they say worst things, and they can make it so much worse by what they're saying to you in attempts to make you feel better. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. And I almost wish that, that there was a little booklet that they gave you where you went to help somebody and it says, okay, don't say this, don't say this, but try to say this and try to say that. And sometimes all I needed was somebody to sit next to me in silence.
Yeah.
That was fine. That was absolutely fine. And I mentioned meditation. And when I finally succumbed to meditation, which I absolutely love, I became a trainer in it. That's how much I love it. But group meditation, having somebody sitting right next to me on either side, in front of me and behind me, and feeling that collective energy of we're all breathing in together, we're all breathing out together. Sometimes it's all we need is the presence of someone else, not necessarily their words, because words have a tendency to not come out right. And this childhood thing about sticks and stones may bring you up, but words would never hurt you. Oh my God, I'd take the sticks any day. I'd rather not have the words, because
for sure,
don't know what to say.
Yeah, absolutely. There needs to be some kind of handbook to teach people that, to your point, sometimes you just don't have to say anything, but be mindful about the things you say, because words leave deeper scars than sticks or stones or whatever it is, for sure. It's a lot harder to heal from those things. So yeah, there definitely needs to be a handbook to teach people how to help people grieve, the things to say, the things not to say, all of that. I couldn't agree with you more. 1000%. So how did you metabolize your anger without letting it turn into resentment or self-betrayal, most importantly?
By letting the anger move through me instead of using it to make decisions. Any decision that I made in anger was not the right decision. In hindsight, because we talked about hindsight being 20/20, it seems like every decision I made in anger wasn't the right one. It just wasn't, on further review, because I allowed anger to get the best of me. And I needed to let it move through me. And one of the techniques, again, a different mentor suggested, is a wiffle bat. A wiffle bat, a child's wiffle bat.
Yeah.
Beat my couch pillows to the point of exhaustion to get that anger out, because it is an emotion. It becomes a trapped emotion. And our ecosystem, becomes a coffin for all of those emotions. We got to get them up and out. And some people run and jog and movement. It has to be movement. For me, it was something very about hitting that couch. It started with pillow fight. And whatnot. And I was like, you know what? I need to hold on to something. And I need to hold it in my hand and feel that kinetic energy coming out of me and reverberating on a wiffle bat when it hits a pillow on the couch. And it's just another grounding technique.
Now they have rage rooms. So there you go.
Exactly.
You could always go to one of those.
Just to be able to do it or nothing. What do they say when you drop a plate and oh, yes, there we go.
Yeah.
There's something about release.
Yes, for sure. So how did you stay present with your husband without abandoning yourself when the trust was still being built, when it was shattered and being rebuilt again?
By paying attention to my body, because my body reacted first before my brain or my heart did. I would feel it in my body. Like I could feel the sensation, the avalanche of emotions starting to come over me, and stepping back, as I suggested before, stepping back from it, just realizing, you know what? I can feel it coming up. I can feel the intensity and slowing it down. That is the most important thing, is that when you feel this rush, to slow it down, to allow your body to catch up with your heart, with your mind. And a lot of times it was about stepping away. It was truly about stepping away.
Again, it's that self-awareness piece. That is huge, because so many people would just continue moving through it, letting it take over. And the only one that is really going to suffer is you, because those emotions, if you push them down, if you tamp them down, those repressed emotions manifest in your body in dis-ease, and you're the one that's going to suffer for it. So I love that you shared that about slowing down and, again, stepping away, reiterating that, because it's so important. Just take a break. I need a minute. I need 5 minutes. I need an hour, whatever it is. If you got to go out for a walk, like I said, or I got to go jump in the shower. That water, I just need to feel that water. Give me half an hour, whatever it is. It's so important. So again, thank you for reiterating that point, Vanessa. Looking back now, what did the version of you in the absolute deepest pain do, even when everything felt wrong to you?
I kept breathing. And I know that sounds really strange, but I would find myself almost to the point of hyperventilation, needing to slow it down and to breathe and to recognize, okay, I need to take a deep breath. And the second thing was, I didn't force clarity before it was ready. Like, I needed clarity, but I didn't force it. And there was something about the physical act of forcing and needing and wanting, and it manifested my rage. And I didn't like who I was in those moments. I didn't like the rage. I didn't like who I was becoming. It scared me. Never mind my children, who were older. They were teenagers at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't like who I was becoming or who was presenting. And it really involved, again, that self-awareness of stepping back and recognizing something really important. It was said to me early on, and I dismissed it away. And later on, I came back to it, and yeah, it was true. It was right. Though this happened to me, it wasn't about me.
Yeah.
It wasn't about me at all.
No.
And I took on so much of the shame and the guilt of it. I took it all on. I blamed myself for it as much as my husband tried to keep the shame and guilt. And we would tug a war on it. I must have done something for you to do this. Really? I say it now, and I'm like, yeah, no.
So what did he say was why he went astray? Like, what was his reason?
It was interesting because it was said in couples coaching that we had together, because we each had our own therapist.
Right.
Came together for couples coaching. And he finally got it out of his mouth because he turtled in based on my reaction. Because my reaction was so overwhelming to him that I never let him finish what he wanted to say. And he went about it the wrong way, and he completely admits that. But we have become so comfortable in our lives that we were pretty much micromanaging our relationship. You're going to do this, I'm going to do that, you're going to pick up the kid, I'm going to do, and we just micromanage our relationship, and we lost sight of each other. And when we lose sight of each other, That's when cracks start to form, and unfortunately, someone else can swoop in. Someone else caretaked his confidence, made him feel really good about himself, and made him feel like he did when we first got together.
Right.
What he wanted to say that day is, I've met someone and I love how that makes me feel, but I don't want that with her. I want that with you.
Wow.
Big difference.
For sure.
Big difference. But I had descended into the cesspool so fast that even if he tried to grab me before I got in there too deep, hopeless, because it, as I said, opened Pandora's box of all these micro betrayals I had throughout my entire life, starting in toddler, like in kindergarten. I remember the first instance where that happened, where my feelings got dismissed, where somebody betrayed me, but I didn't have the language for it. But
so this was the pivotal point that just cracked everything fucking wide open.
Absolutely. And
he didn't even get to finish what he was going to say.
And every single insecurity I ever had came flooding in, just flooding in.
That's a lot.
A mess. I was a mess. I was a shell of myself.
I'm sure.
And I kept it very close to the chest. A lot of people who have been betrayed, who have been cheated on, will want to scream it from the mountaintops. They want to take a Louisville Slugger to both headlights. They want to key the car. They want to announce it to everyone. That wasn't me. I really wanted to keep it close to the chest. And it wasn't until therapy and coaching where I found my voice, where I could say what I needed to say and address those insecurities that I had, that his actions brought up. But that moment where he says, I want that intoxication with you, not with her. I love the way that makes me feel. So there was something missing in our relationship. Granted, it happens over time. But again, we lost sight of our relationship. And for the most part, everything was good. And again, those little cracks, it's when something else, someone else, even artificial intelligence now can come in and we suddenly realize what we're missing, what we've been missing.
It shines a light on it.
We don't realize it until it starts to seep in. And then we're like, oh, really, the way that makes me feel. No fault. I get that. But I needed to hear that extra part. But by that time, I was too far gone.
Yeah.
I really
there was a lot left unsaid on both of your parts. You didn't share with him how you had experienced betrayal repeatedly throughout your life. He didn't know that. And you didn't know that he had more to say. There's a lot of unsaid and unresolved shit there. So it just, when it doesn't get said, it just builds and builds until it finally fucking explodes.
Correct.
Wow. That is powerful. So, Vanessa, before you were ever the expert, what did betrayal teach you about yourself that no certification could ever teach you, or any book?
Let's see. No certification teaches you how tempting self-abandonment can feel when you're trying to hold your relationship together. I found myself abandoning myself a lot, losing myself in this whole process, in this whole dark moments. And it really became so important for me to be connected to myself. It wasn't about him. It wasn't about him. It suddenly became about me and discovering who I was underneath this pile. Because again, the certainty was great, but also I was everything to everyone. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. That was my purpose. I was his wife. I was my kid's mother. I was these employees' boss. My identity was wrapped up in everyone else, not me. Like I lost myself. And that was probably the best, wonderful, pivotal moment for me in my healing is when I introduced myself to myself.
That is so huge. And it is such a common thing that I hear in all the, sorry, I shouldn't say all, in a lot of the conversations, of course, with women, is that they self-abandon because they have been conditioned. This comes through conditioning of you can't be selfish. You have to put your kids first, your husband first, your partner, your family, your community, all of these things before yourself. And then you get the little scraps that are left over for yourself, which is bullshit. It is actually the exact opposite. It's not selfish to put yourself first. It is actually selfless to do that, because when you do that, you are able to fill your cup first, but then the overflow you're able to give to whoever you wish to give to. And there's that much more to give when you fill your own cup first. When you love yourself first, like you said, you had to reintroduce yourself to yourself and fall back in love with yourself. And I've said this so many times, that relationship with self is hands down the most important and the longest standing relationship you will ever have in your entire life. Yes, you'll have a partner, you'll have boyfriends as you're growing up, and you'll have your familial relationships, but this one here with you, that is the most important one above all else. I don't give a shit what anybody says. And it's not selfish, because when it comes down to it, all you really have is you, period. So you better get right with yourself first. Then that overflows out into the others who you have relationships with and connections with and all of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the byproduct, the silver lining of it, you ready for it? Your confidence. And not for nothing, I think the most attractive quality that anyone can have, regardless of their size, their age, the color of their skin, how much they weigh, it doesn't matter. If they lead with confidence, not to be confused with arrogance, but confidence, oh, you can see them a mile away and you gravitate towards them.
That's sexy as fuck. Yeah. It really is. It's beautiful. And you're right, that magnetizes people, that attracts people. Love it. Through your work, Vanessa, you've sat with people in the rawest moments of their lives, the moments right after truth detonates everything, as you personally experience. What does betrayal actually sound like when no one's trying to look strong anymore?
It is such a dark place to be. It's a lonely place to be. And you truly feel like you are the only one that that's going through this. And you're not. You're absolutely not alone. Regrettably, we do this to each other. We hurt each other. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes not intentionally. And it's in those moments that we recognize our capacity, not only for ourselves, but for what we bring, who we are, why we do what we do, and in what capacity we do it. For me, early on, I felt safe when I was being useful. And I want to be cautious with that, because fawning, useful is fawning. Fawning is the fourth element of fear. We talk about fight, flight, flee. The fourth one is fawn. When we want to be useful, we really want to be useful. We want to be useful and whatnot. And I made the connection that I'm only safe when I'm being useful. And that's not true. You can be safe in your own skin. You can trust yourself. And trusting yourself comes incrementally in baby steps. It really, really does. And it starts with making a commitment to yourself that in the morning you are not going to look at your phone first thing in the morning. And that's a commitment that you make to yourself. And when you honor that commitment, you start to trust yourself. And it's about trusting yourself and allowing that trust to stack. Because when you can trust yourself, then you can start to trust the people around you. You can't trust them first if you don't trust yourself.
It's just like love. You can't love someone if you don't love yourself. For truly love someone, you have to love yourself first. It starts here. I believe we are the foundation for all of it. Yes, you can love someone else, but not in a deep sense, I don't think, if you don't love yourself first.
You can create a warped sense based on the reflection that you see in somebody else's eyes. I love them because they love me. Not quite. It's a warped. Yes, I agree with you. You do need to love yourself first. You do.
Yep.
A lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Struggle with that. And they, again, I'll love myself when somebody else loves me. So they make it conditional. And what we want is we want that unconditional love.
For sure.
The puppy.
Yeah.
It is. And
it is.
I don't know about puppies.
Yes, we do.
And I use the metaphor of puppies a lot in my work because I have a lot of people that come to me. I will never love again. I will never give my heart to someone else. And I ask them, did you grow up with a dog? Did you ever have a dog? When the dog died, did you get another dog? Oh, yeah. And it's okay. So that doesn't diminish the first dog.
No.
You had the capacity to love the first dog. You grieved the first dog. But then you got another dog, not to replace the first dog, but because you have the capacity to love, you get another dog.
Yeah.
Again, you are going to have another relationship. You get to choose who that's with. But you do need to start with the relationship you have with yourself first.
As your mentor said to you. Very powerful. Very powerful. What's the most dangerous lie people tell themselves after betrayal because it temporarily numbs the pain?
Ooh, I have to decide everything right now. Right now, I have to make a decision. I have to go. I have to stay. Whatever it is, I've got to make the decision now. Oh my gosh, because the urgency feels productive. Ooh, I have to pack up all his stuff and leave it outside. And urgency, the urgency. Yeah. Most dangerous lie is the urgency. And again, we go back to slow it all down. You do not need to make any decisions. And when you make decisions out of rage and anger, they're usually not the right decisions.
Regretful.
Exactly. And that's usually the number one thing that keeps people stuck is that I have to decide it right now. And they put so much pressure on themselves to make a decision when they don't have the clarity, when they don't have the freedom from fear, because a lot of those decisions are made from fear-based.
Right.
And they don't have the clarity. They don't quite understand the situation. In hindsight, that day in Central Park, and my husband said those 3 words to me, and I completely fell apart. And I went home and I packed up all his stuff and told him to get out, kind of thing and whatnot. And he never had the opportunity to finish that. We wouldn't still be married now because I made that rash, angry decision, completely affecting my life.
And he would never have been able to finish that sentence and share, nor would you have been able to share with him all the betrayal that you experienced. And it would have just sadly ended 20 years of marriage down the tubes, all out of anger. That split second decision, right? And you're right. People they act in haste and anger, and they've got to make a decision. And so I love that. I see the theme throughout our whole conversation of slow down, breathe, take it easy. Just take a minute for yourself. It's so important to not get caught up in the rage and in the emotion. As hard as it is, you have to slow down and breathe. Love it. Love that. In your opinion and your experience, of course, what's harder for most people, do you think? Forgiving their partner or forgiving themselves for what they ignored, tolerated, or explained away?
Themselves. They beat themselves up. They beat themselves up relentlessly to the point where it's not even about their partner anymore. It's about themselves. And they will beat themselves down to the point where they're unrecognizable. They've gone 12 rounds with Muhammad Ali, in the ring, because they really struggle with it. What did I miss? What didn't I see? And they take it all on. The forgiveness part is really tough. It absolutely is. But once you can forgive yourself, and the way I say it to a lot of my clients, that if you let go of a little, you'll have a little happiness. You'll have a little forgiveness. If you let go of a lot, You'll have a lot of happiness, a lot of forgiveness. But if you let go completely, you'll be free. And isn't free glorious? Don't you want
Yeah.
to
I think people get caught up in this whole forgiveness thing, thinking that forgiveness is for the person that has done them wrong, that has betrayed them, that has done whatever myriad of things that it's about us. The forgiveness is only for you. That's it. So that you can, to use your words, live freely, free yourself of those fucking chains you've got on your shoulders. Doesn't that weight get fucking heavy? Do you really want to carry that around with you? All that anger and resentment and the chains. And as I said earlier, when we carry around all of these emotions and we don't release them, we don't let them go, it manifests in disease in our bodies. We're the ones who suffer for it. So yes, you feel betrayed by that person or that thing, whatever it was that happened, but you're also hurting yourself in the process by not forgiving yourself. And that's the most important person. So free yourself, to use your term, free yourself.
Stop drinking the poison.
And expecting the other person to die from it.
Exactly. Just stop. You're said then done. I get it. And
of course.
For me, it was finally asking for help. That is probably my deepest regret in this whole process, was thinking that I could do it on my own. I could fix him, I could fix me, and we'd be fine. And no, not at all. You need a support system. You do.
Again, I think that is a very common thing. Predominantly women. I'm not going to say all women, but predominantly women, because of conditioning. You got to do this by yourself. You got to do this on your own. You can't ask for help because that's a sign of weakness. And why would you do that? When, again, the other part we were talking about is, no, it's exactly the opposite. It is a sign of strength when you can ask for help. And we all need, every single person on this planet needs help. You cannot do, nor are we meant to do this thing called life alone. We are meant to do it in community with one another, to support each other. Correct. It's so important. Yeah, exactly.
Village.
Yeah, for sure. What does accountability actually look like from the partner who betrayed, beyond words, tears, and promises?
Consistency over time. It's stacking those little things up, just being consistent. And my husband slipped with the consistency. Heaven forbid he tilted that phone just a little bit and I flew off the deep end. You had to remember to put the phone far away so that if I wanted to glance over and see what he was doing, I could see it.
Yeah.
I was all into it, but at least if I looked over and could see what he's looking at, I felt a sense of calm. But the second that phone tilted ever so slightly, even if he was reaching for something else and he just tilted the phone.
Yeah.
Consistency. Consistency over time. And yeah, absolutely the consistency. Not with explanations and not with intensity, but steady behavior.
Yeah.
And being transparent for me was really important. So I needed that phone face up. No lock screen, or at least I knew the password.
Yeah.
And just if I heard him on the phone and something didn't quite sound right, I had my words to be able to, who are you talking to? Oh, I'll call him back. I wanted to talk to them. That, ladies, is a dead giveaway. If you ask your partner, oh, who are you talking to? And he's forthright with it. Oh, you know what? I wanted to call him back. Really good, really good catch. Really good catch. And my husband, no problem here. Redial here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No problem. Consistency. Consistency is absolute key.
Okay. Betrayal has a way of silencing women. Stuff it all down. How do you help women reclaim their voice without turning their pain into armor?
The themes.
Here we go again.
Slow it down. And when they're in my office, we go back to music, how we started. I'll ask them what their favorite song is. What's your favorite song? What's the song that you actually know the words to? Oh, can you hum me a few bars? Can you sing a few bars? Off key's fine and whatnot. Oh, could you sing that a little louder? Oh, could you sing that even louder and whatnot? And suddenly their voice is getting louder and louder. And I'm like, my neighbor can't hear it. Could go louder and stuff, so that they hear their own voice and they hear familiar words that are comforting to them because it's a song that they're used to, whether it's an empowering song or a sad song, whatever it is. They know the lyrics, they know the words, they can speak the words, And it usually starts off very monotone, then it gets louder and louder, and it's teaching them to hear their own voice.
And they remember what their voice sounds like. That's powerful. That's a beautiful exercise, Vanessa. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. If someone feels ashamed for staying or ashamed for wanting to stay, what would you say to help her release that judgment?
We're going to go back to, you're going to have a new relationship. You're going to have a new relationship with yourself and a new relationship with a partner, but you get to choose it. So shame is not wisdom. It's not wisdom. And shame has a way of enveloping us.
Yeah.
And I encourage a lot of my clients to think of it like an article of clothing. Take it off. It's not becoming on you.
It doesn't look good on you.
No, it doesn't. Not at all. It might be comfortable, but whatnot, but eventually it gets itchy and it gets bigger. It's too big. It's hanging off of you. Take it off. And figuratively and literally, I have people, because I always give homework, what your next assignment is. And when you come into my office, here's what I need you to bring. And it's always literally bring a pencil, bring a Band-Aid, it's almost, what was the show? Oh, it was so good where he would randomly call out something. Does somebody have a,
what the hell? You know, yes. I know what you're talking about.
Deal? Let's make a deal.
Yes, let's make a deal. Yes.
Yeah. So I have that.
That's the audience.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I have 3 random things that I ask my clients to bring in. And it's interesting because I'll ask them to bring in, usually in the summer, bring in an overcoat, bring in your winter coat. They have to dig it out of the garage or whatnot. And they're like, why did I have to bring this? And I'm like, okay, I want you to sit. I want you to put it on and sit down. And they're like, and I'm like, that's the shame. That's your shame. You're carrying it. I've taken it a step further where I ask them to bring in a coat and I ask them to bring in rocks. And they're like, the rocks in your pockets. Okay. Now you're going to stand in your coat. Feel how heavy it is? Represents your shame. I want you to take it off.
Yeah.
Toss it over there. Toss it over onto the chair. It can sit over there. You can still see it. Every once in a while, see it, but I don't want you wearing it anymore. And sometimes
that's a powerful exercise.
We need that visceral feeling of pulling it off and putting it over there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious, Vanessa, the clients that you see, could you break it down to a percentage where the men have been cheated on versus the women or betrayed, not cheated on, betrayed, as opposed to the women that have been betrayed?
In my practice, it runs pretty close.
Really?
Yeah, it runs pretty close because I have a capacity to work with both.
I was just more curious about whether men were forthcoming enough to admit that they have been, because it's this male bravado and I could not admit that I've been betrayed kind of thing.
For men to admit it is challenging. It's very much a dark secret. It's usually when they want to stay in the marriage. And usually, a lot of times, the staying in the marriage is for financial reasons. It's for prestige and who they are, because I work with a lot of clients that have me sign NDAs.
Okay.
So the appearance of being married is extremely important.
Right.
So they want to attempt to work through all the feelings that they have to reach forgiveness.
Okay.
I do have a caveat to all of it. There has to be a willingness from both parties to want to reset the relationship.
For sure.
And if they both have it, we can work through it. I can help them work through that as their guide to help them understand all the feelings that they have and get them up and out. Because if they get them up and out, is there a chance for that reconciliation? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there absolutely is. But if they hold on to something and they hold on to remnants of it, it is going to come forth maybe next year, maybe 5 years from now, because it hasn't been resolved. It's still sitting over there. It's the gremlin. It's sitting there with the flashlight, not on, but it's waiting. Oh, it's waiting. It can't wait to turn it on.
Yeah.
And usually that happens right around life's transitions. Empty nest, Last kid graduates from high school, goes off to college, and suddenly,
Yeah.
remember when you cheated on me 12 years ago? Yeah, we need to talk about that again. So, yeah, we can sit in it for we really don't clean it up.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just the micro betrayals. And sometimes I have clients come in here and they think they're arguing about the garbage. You didn't take out the garbage last night. No, it's not.
Much deeper than that. Thank you. I was very curious about that. So thank you for sharing that. What is one daily practice you would recommend that quietly rebuilds self-trust, even when the relationship itself still feels uncertain or on shaky ground?
Keeping small promises to yourself. Keeping small promises to yourself. Make a promise to yourself, not something grandiose thing. No, something a little small, whatever it is. But make a promise to yourself. Keep your promise. Honor that promise. Remember that promise. Fulfill that promise. And repeat the loop. Continue to repeat that. Absolutely, because that reinforces and it builds and reinforces your self-trust.
Honor yourself.
Yes, absolutely honor yourself.
Love that.
You're the most beautiful thing. You just have to
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. You have to reintroduce yourself, to use your phrase.
Yes, absolutely.
What does self-love require when a woman stays, and how is that different from self-love if she leaves, if there is a difference?
Oh, there's definitely a difference.
Okay.
When staying, self-love looks like boundaries. Have boundaries. Put boundaries in place. When leaving, it looks like grief without self-judgment. That's key. That is key. You are allowed to grieve. You need to grieve, but without the self-judgment.
The guilt, the shame, all that shit.
Do not take that on. Nope, don't leave with that. That's the betrayers. Leave it with them.
Yeah.
As long as you have the clarity that's necessary, the freedom from fear. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Clarity and freedom from fear. And that you trust yourself. Trust yourself, and you've made the decision with as much information as you have. You're not rushing into the decision. You're not making it from a place of anger, but from a place of steadiness. This is what's best. Maybe this is what's best for you and your children, because those are always a consideration as well.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Absolutely. But when we rush into decisions and when we throw the D word around very loosely, it gets complicated really fast, and a lot of destruction happens to our children in that uncertainty of, are they going to get divorced or they're not going to get divorced?
Yeah, for sure.
Ping pong ball that you're bouncing back and forth. Not only is it deregulating to you, and you have a little bit of self-control for your children.
Yeah, it's a whole other world.
Way too heavy. Way
for
too
sure.
heavy.
Yeah. When betrayal shatters a woman's sense of worth, what does self-love look like before confidence or clarity actually returns?
I'm going to say sleep, because sleep is such a golden commodity, especially during trauma, because again, you close your eyes and you just see everything. Simplicity. Make it simple. Make it into bite-sized pieces. You don't have to eat the whole cow, just little pieces. And most importantly, permission to not know yet. You don't have to make a decision right then and there. You're allowed to slow it down, to take some time, to think about it, to turn the kaleidoscope just 1 degree so you can see a different pattern. And maybe that pattern is the answer that you're seeking, because the answer that you're seeking is from within. It's not external. Anybody can tell you all kinds of answers. I have people that come into my office all the time and they share everything with me, and then they're like, are we going to make it?
It's a little more involved.
Yeah, a little bit more involved in that. Or they want to, how long is it going to take me to heal? They think that you can put it into Google, into an algorithm, and answer all kinds of questions. And it goes, 87 days, you'll be healed.
No, healing is not linear.
Exactly. And that's being addicted to certainty. You want certainty.
Yeah.
This is an uncertain time. Embrace that.
Yeah. Love it. Now, as mentioned at the top of the conversation, you are the creator of the Hope Roadmap. Can you tell us all about the Hope Roadmap? When you created it, what exactly is it? What inspired its creation? And I'm sure HOPE is an acronym, so
yes,
You can share that as well.
Yeah, it's definitely an acronym. Simply put, it's hold on, pain ends. Hold on, pain ends. And I created it because people, they don't need more insight into the crisis. They already know how they feel.
Yeah.
And they're already in it, knee deep in it. What they need is to be stabilized. They need to be grounded. They need a structure that they can lean on quickly when everything starts to flood in. And I teach those techniques over time. It's not all at once because you can't give something all at once. When you're just all over the place, when you feel like, oh my, I can't even make heads or tails of what's going on, you don't need to be handed a map and say, oh, here you go, point A, point B, figure it out. No, it doesn't work like that. It has to be a step-by-step process. Just because you buy the most expensive running shoes does not mean that you will run a marathon the next day. You have to
Very
train.
true. Remember, as a kid, you say, I got new running shoes. I can run faster.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. And marketing did it too. You could jump like Jordan does with these particular shoes because you pump them up.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's the framework that I use with clients, and it's individualized with each client. Because no two relationships are the same. Again, as we talked about betrayals on a spectrum, what might be okay for one couple is absolutely not okay for another couple.
Yeah.
And we don't know what we're faced with until they actually walk in my office and say, here's what's going on. Here's where I'm hurting. Help. And keep in mind, I'm not here to fix. I'm not fixing. Right. I'm just showing you what you are not seeing. I'm showing you your blind spots.
Yeah.
I'm showing you how to see it a little bit differently. I have kaleidoscopes in my office. I
love that
all the time. I'm like, I want you to look through it. You see the pattern? Yes. Okay. That's your story. That's your story as you gave it. I'm not dismissing your story. Not at all. I want you to turn it 1 degree. Did the pattern change? Yeah. I said, yeah, that's what we're doing here. We're going to rewrite your story from a different perspective so that you can see it. Because my story is very different now that we have that little piece. I want that intoxication with you. Very different. Suddenly very different.
For sure. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. If a woman is listening right now and feels broken beyond repair, what do you want her to know about what's actually happening within her?
Nothing is wrong with her. Nothing is wrong with her. Her system is responding exactly as it should to the shock. It's a shock to your system. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. I know it feels that way, but you are not. You are absolutely not. And you will get through this. You absolutely will.
Nobody is broken. I don't believe anybody is ever broken. We need help. We need support. We need guidance. But that's it. No human being is broken. I do not like that term at all.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan either.
What does freedom mean to you at the very deepest level, Vanessa, beyond money, status, recognition, all of those things?
Being able to tell the truth. To myself first, without fear. Without fear. And that's something that my husband and it trickled to our children as well. You know, that the truth will absolutely set you free. It will. It might not feel like it because we can condition ourselves to lie.
Yeah.
It feels good. And we can justify it. I don't want to hurt them. I'll just lie. Then they're not hurt. And we project our own sense of, oh, okay, I won't tell them the truth because I don't want to hurt them. But actually, I'm not telling them the truth because I want to feel better.
Yeah.
So absolutely, unequivocally is to be able to tell the truth.
How do you define success?
Ooh, success. Absolutely living in alignment and grounded, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient.
Love that. What does the word empowerment mean to you, Vanessa?
Choice without self-abandonment.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, we're going to jump into a little rapid fire section. So the next grouping of questions just be 1, 2, 3 word answer type thing, okay?
Okay, let me take a sip of water.
Get ready.
Ready.
You got this. All right. What is one thing you love about yourself that is not related to your physical appearance?
Oh, my capacity to stay present, even when things are hard. The fact that
Presence
I
is
can
everything.
stay right here, right now, without
Mm.
any distractions. Yeah.
What is one of your secret or hidden talents?
Getting calm in rooms where the intensity is just, oh, so much, where everything else just feels so charged, and the capacity to bring it, to slow it down and to
I
calm it
love it.
down. I love that. I love that.
If you could teach the world one thing, what would it be?
You don't have to rush healing for it to work.
If you could
Don't
be
have to rush
sorry.
healing. I'm sorry, I was gonna say it
No,
again.
it's okay.
It was so powerful to me. You
Yeah,
don't have to rush healing for it to work.
you can't.
Yeah.
If you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
My capacity to love.
One word that sums up your mindset.
Grounded.
One book that changed your life.
One
Yeah.
book on my desk, because I read it almost every single day, as I have for the last 10 years. I pick it up, I open it up on any page. I absolutely love it. Is The Gift, Edith Edgar. Absolutely
Okay.
outstanding book.
One word that defines the woman you are becoming.
Steady.
I love
Can
it.
I have a second word? Can I have a
Yeah.
second word?
Sure.
Fierce.
I'm going to throw badass in there too.
Okay, I'll take it.
That concludes our rapid fire section. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I created a bonus question that I did not send you ahead of time. How do you define love, both the kind you give and the kind you receive?
It's in the stillness. It's in those quiet moments where peace is just washed over you. You just feel a sense of calm. You feel a sense of pride. You're happy in your own skin. You can look at yourself and recognize who you are. And then in your partner's eyes, that you see your reflection. You see how much you mean to other people. And you recognize, you know what? I am. And you fill in the blank.
I love that. If you were to introduce yourself to me without mentioning your occupation, where you're from, your ethnicity, your nationality, your religion, all these superficial day-to-day markers that we use in life, how would you introduce yourself to me?
Hi, Brad. I'm the friend that you want to get to know.
Love it. I am grateful and blessed to call you a friend. So thank you, Vanessa. If you could step into my shoes, what question would you have asked yourself that I didn't ask you?
You were so thorough in all your questions. I'm trying to think of, what hasn't he asked me? What hasn't he asked me? I'm so surprised he hasn't asked me this particular thing. What's holding you back?
Okay. What's holding you back?
It's interesting because I have a lot of business gurus coming at me. You need to be so much bigger than you are. Yeah, you got a book, you got your 10,000 YouTube subscribers, and your Instagram and your social footprint is huge, but you need to be so much bigger. You need to do a course, and you need to do this, and you need to do that, and everything else. And yeah, no, I'm so not interested in any of that. I do like to be on stage. When I was at Oxford University, oh my gosh, that was such an amazing experience for me. Absolutely. And then when I spoke at Columbia, without a doubt. And I love being on podcasts, without a doubt. Hosts such as yourself are so gracious. Absolutely.
Thank you.
But what's holding me back from doing a course or going big or whatnot is I don't have this. I don't have the one-on-one. I don't have that opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life based on a chat. And I really enjoy that. And everyone's, you're trading time for money and blah, blah, blah. When I have a chat with a local couple in my community, because I'm in Westchester County, New York, so I'm outside of Manhattan.
Yeah.
And they come into my office. They're just, they don't even know where to begin or where they end, or they're just in such disarray. And 90 minutes later, they walk out of my office with hope. That ripples out. It ripples out into my community that I've lived in for over 30 years.
Yeah.
That makes an impact. And to me, that's the most important thing. It's just like what I said to you when we started talking. Your impact, yes, you've had 738 women, but you have impacted more lives because of all your listeners who get to listen to the wisdom that's been shared that you draw out of your guests. that. So, what's holding me back is my desire for that one-to-one.
That meaningful connection. There's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than real, meaningful, authentic connection with another human being. It's beautiful. It's powerful. It's powerful beyond measure. It really is. And the ripple effect of that out into their community, their lives, the people that they surround themselves with. It's more than it impacts more than just that you and I today. Our conversation is going to impact far more than just you and I. It'll impact the listeners and all of that, and whoever you share it with, whoever I share it with. And that's what it's about, is reaching as many people as we possibly can. Of course, I can guarantee that we will impact one person's life. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. And that's really the goal, is to impact one person, to change one person's life, or to plant a seed for that one person. Of course, we want to reach as many people as we possibly can through our work, whatever that is, through your work, through my work. But the goal is to start with one, and that's it. And that's the most important thing. Like I said before, it's about finding your purpose and then having that purpose impact people in the world. That's what we're here for. And that's what it's about. So yes, connection is everything. Absolutely everything. I agree with you. If you had the opportunity, Vanessa, to sit down and have a 1-hour conversation with one woman, any woman in the world, who would it be and why?
My grandmother. Her 2 years ago, she was 100.
How?
But I'd lost her 7 years prior to Alzheimer's. And I would give anything to have even 10 minutes with her, lucid, where she is exactly as I remember her, and tell her, reintroduce myself to her, actually, because she meant the world to me. So much of who I am now is reflected of who she was. And I didn't recognize it then. I recognize it now. And I want to let her know the impact that she has had on me. I remember her telling me a lot to slow down. And I get it. I was racing around the house and went on. She'd tell me, slow down. But in those moments, those are what I remember. And I remember fondly. And she was an amazing woman who worked. She was paymaster at a brewery company where she had to go by her first initial and her last name, because no one could know that she was female.
Wow.
Yes. Her male assistant was the front facing of her department, as if he was the person. But no, it was her. It was her. And she retired 20 years to the day. And when they sat her down related to pension back in the day when there were pensions, and said, would you like it monthly or would you like it one lump sum? She says, oh, I'll take it monthly. She worked for the company for 20 years. She retired at 55.
Wow.
Died at 100. They paid her out 45 years. Monthly pension. I was so ridiculously proud of her. So ridiculously proud of her.
That's incredible. Wow.
If you're not going to allow me to have my identity by my name and who I am and the fact that I'm a woman, fine. I'm going to give you 20 years to the day, and you're going to pay me another 45 years.
Go, Grandma. I love that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that story. I love it. That's amazing. If you could go back, Vanessa, and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
You don't need to be stronger. You don't need to be stronger. You don't need to prove anything. Just slow it down. Just slow it down and be kinder to yourself. Be kinder to yourself. Yeah, that would be it. But in all fairness, I don't think I would say anything. I love who I am now. And the only reason I am who I am now is because of everything I went through. And if I went back to my younger self and made even just one little tweak, if I turned that kaleidoscope just 1 degree, my life could be completely different.
For sure.
And it might not be different in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. Lastly, Vanessa, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, your corner of the world, your tribe, your people, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? What words of wisdom would you impart?
You're not behind. You're not broken. You're responding to what happened. Give yourself time. Give yourself grace.
Beautiful. Vanessa, thank you so much for such an incredibly deep, thought-provoking, insightful, powerful, and inspirational conversation. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your tips, your knowledge, your experience. I am so grateful to you, to have you as a member of the Empowerography community, to call you a friend, to be in your presence. Thank you so much for taking and making the time to be here with me today. It was well worth that 2-year wait, because this conversation has been absolutely incredible, and I've loved every minute of it. Thank you for showing up and shining. I appreciate you.
Brad, I appreciate you. Thank you.
I received that. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast, a platform that was created to help elevate and amplify the voices of women through sharing their stories. Today, my guest has been Vanessa Cardenas. She is a relationship reset expert, a betrayal recovery specialist who helps individuals and couples rebuild trust, restore emotional connection, and regain clarity from the inside out. She's also the founder of the Understanding Ear and the creator of the Hope Roadmap. Thank you so much, Vanessa. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Likewise.
Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca, follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast, and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.